Hello, I'm Sarah with NextGEN Medium. I do a podcast. I'm also a psychic medium intuitive. That's why I do NextGEN Medium. I also have a website, nextgenmedium.com, and I like to give my experience, my thoughts, my truth that I've culminated in the years that I've understood this stuff for myself. And if I can help somebody with their journey, then I feel like I've done my job. Like, that's my job now. I think everybody is capable of psychic, medium, intuitive abilities. I think it just takes seeing it for yourself, getting an idea of how it works, and maybe reframing how you understand things. It really doesn't take anything more than that. You have the stuff. It's just, how can you recognize that you're using it? So one way that I like to help people is not only through development sessions or through my NextGen Medium podcasts, which you can get on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, just to name a few. I also like to go to Reddit and see what questions people are asking on there and see if there's something I can add to the conversation. My thing I always say is, if I can add value to the conversation, then I'm going to do that. If there's a question I come across and I'm like, I don't think there's much I can talk about with that, then I'm not going to probably say too much. So there's something intriguing in it that I want to talk about, that I want to bring to people who have the same question. All right, so we're going to the subreddit of mediums. Okay, and this is posted by user error code nobody. Okay. Today's question. Why do mediums get things wrong? This person says, I've seen that mediums tend to get a lot more things wrong about the deceased than they get right. For example, I've seen mediums getting the name wrong, cause of death, etc. Yeah, that's a great question. And that is something that frustrates the medium when they feel like they got something wrong. But what needs to be understood with the information is there's a lot of factors that come into play when you're doing a reading. First of all, if the medium isn't in a good space mentally, that can really mess up the messaging, or the medium starts relying on other things, and then it's not so much a reading sometimes. So there is the ability for the medium to concentrate, I would say, and for the medium to not doubt themselves. Like, these are two factors with the medium themselves. Okay. And then you have the person who's sitting in the room. If someone isn't so open to the process of what's happening, then that can really mess up a reading. One is the energy that they bring. It can be a real hindrance to the process. I'm just going to put that out there. Like, if you are a skeptic, then how open are you going to be to this? And that's not good for the medium and who they're talking to, because I like to visualize it as an energy that's like a circle. And when one part of the circle isn't working well, then it's really hard to get the momentum going of energy feeding in a loop. Okay, so that makes things difficult. What also makes things difficult, as a medium who has someone who's kind of skeptical of the process and almost tries to work against the process of what's happening. Not to say that a skeptic shouldn't be skeptical. Like, I get it. I don't go into a reading going, oh, everything this person's going to say is absolutely right. There's almost sort of a proving kind of feeling I get when I go into one, because I don't want to be taken for a fool. Like, I don't want to be duped. Like, nobody wants to be duped. But I really do think there is some earning that needs to be done, but there also needs to be some possibility given to the medium as well. Like, you got to surrender a little bit of that as someone who's getting a reading. So the other thing is if a medium is giving you information, but you've already, as someone who's getting a reading, if you've already decided that this person's a phony, a fake, blah, 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 then are you going to be upfront and honest as someone being read that the information that the medium's giving you, are you going to be honest that it is correct? So if the medium is hitting on something, are you going to be open enough to the possibilities of considering what you think who you think the medium is connecting with, as opposed to the medium giving you all kinds of information about another person, but you're not open to the fact that that medium could be connecting with somebody else? And quite often in a reading, what I've also noticed, and maybe isn't as understood, but I understand for my process, is sometimes I'll get a couple of people that were similar in some way. Either they lived around the same time and their energy almost kind of feeds into one source of information, or they were such similar people that it's hard for me to distinguish information coming from one person or another. Now, part of that has to do with my skills as a medium, and that's more work that I need to do. But that's also something that needs to be communicated with the person being read, which brings me to another point of setting expectations to the person being read. If you don't set expectations as a medium, then there could be some disappointment or misunderstanding of how the process works by the person being read. So there's a lot that can go wrong in a reading, and why it feels like the medium is wrong about this, wrong about that, wrong about this. I think when we get caught up on that one piece of information of a name, which is such a huge piece of evidence, if someone can get a name, but if the name's wrong, then the name becomes the determining factor of whether that reading was right or wrong. And when it comes to readings, it's the culmination of information, not just that one piece of information. So when this person says mediums get stuff wrong, they get the name wrong, the cause of death wrong. Sure, mediums aren't right all the time. They're human beings. The other factor, oh my gosh, there's so many factors. Another factor is it really is a game of charades. So when someone from the other side is trying to communicate something, there really is two languages happening that the medium has to decipher. And so sometimes it can be very literal what's coming through. Sometimes it can be figurative. Sometimes the medium is just interpreting incorrectly. Maybe what they're receiving in their brain is accurate to what wants to be communicated, but maybe how they're describing how the medium is describing what they're receiving, maybe that's not working either. So there is an encoding and decoding, and then encoding and sending the message, the perception of the person receiving the message. There's could be issues there. So I think the number one thing when it comes to mediums is if you walk away from a reading feeling disappointed, then I don't think the medium set your expectations correctly. Because the fact of the matter is when someone comes in to get a reading from me, I'm going to be upfront and say, you're not going to get 100% with this reading. I want you to get 100% with this reading, meaning every bit of information is right on. I can't guarantee it. I wish I could, but like, I'm a human being and I'm not going to be 100%, and I don't expect myself to be 100%. If I did, I probably wouldn't be doing this for too long because it would be very disappointing for me. So mediums do get things wrong because there's interpretation involved, because there's energy involved, because expectations aren't set. So I would say that's my answer for that. And we're not robots. And everybody's going to have different interpretations of different things. It's just all based on your experiences. And there can't be a common language when we all have different experiences. So it's an interesting world that we have to communicate with, and it's very different than the physical world, where everybody has a common language, many common languages. So there's my answer for that. Maybe that enlightened somebody or something. Error code nobody. I hope that answered your question. And feel free to send me another question at nextgenmedium@gmail.com, or if you're watching and it's not your question, but maybe you have a similar question or something different. nextgenmedium@gmail.com. You can go to my website, fill out a contact form, and just throw your question in there. That's fine. I'm also going to be answering this question on Reddit, so you can message me through Reddit. I like Reddit a lot, so I like talking about things. So that's more my deal when it comes to social media. And if you're on the soul journey and want to schedule a reading with me or a development session for your own soul abilities, you can do that at my website as well. Hit the subscribe button, like this video if this stuff helped you, or maybe added something for you to think about for your truth. Go ahead and hit that like button. And sign up for the notifications so you know when my next video comes out. Maybe it'll be something. Maybe it'll be your question, and maybe it'll be something that you can add to your possibility of truth. That's all. Bye-bye now.